All right, we're live. Welcome to episode 57 of the Baduk Weiqi Podcast. I am Xiao.
And I am Gaza. Now, Zhao Dai, what have we got in store for this podcast?
We have installed Windows 11. It's pretty usable.
I said in store, not installed.
Ah, okay, yeah, okay. We have the first Lanke Cup, the international version, quarterfinal to semifinal results. We're going to go to Korea and talk about the Supreme Player, Weiqi Construction Cup, and the competition in which Japan embarrasses itself, which is the Korean Baduk League. And then we're going to talk about the Asian game selection from news coming out of China, including a couple of posts in Chinese because there's no good material on that in English. So that's a pretty packed show. And guys, I have one request.
Yeah, what's that?
Can we do this quickly so I can go back to playing my Tears of the Kingdom?
Yep, sure. Annyeonghaseyo Eugene in the chat for those watching on YouTube. And thank you for those that are watching on YouTube. Always appreciated.
Yes, love it, lovely. Now, Gaza, the big one last week was, of course, the Lanke Cup.
That's right. The first fully face-to-face world major.
Yes.
First fully face-to-face international tournament, that is, since the pandemic.
Can you believe it? And this is the picture that we, looked at last week, which was the quarterfinal lineup. And it was Lin Xiao versus Tan Xiao, Zihao versus An Sunjun, Li Weiqing versus Shin Jinseo, Paek Geunho versus Wang Xinghao. So
that's right.
Pretty big matchups over there.
Yes, and one name that I want to point out, want to put out there is, of course, Wang Xinghao, the boy that we've been talking up for
a while,
over a year now. Well, I think since the start of the podcast, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's the youngest player in the quarterfinals, and not only that, this is his first ever world major.
Yes.
So to make the quarterfinals in your first ever world major, very impressive result.
Yeah, 100%. I can't remember if Quzhou actually won his first world major. Probably not.
I don't know what his first world major was. Of course, the first world major that he won was the Lanke Cup, the second edition of the Lanke Cup.
Yep.
I would be surprised if that was his first world major, though, because he was already ranked number one in Go ratings at the time.
Right.
That he won his first world major. So
yeah, okay, I'm not surprised.
Okay, but one thing we should point out is that Quzhou's not here. He lost in the round of 32.
Yeah, facing the first round.
Yes.
So forget about Quzhou. Now, Gaza, I can't remember what the statistics was, but at this point in time in the Lanke Cup in the quarterfinals, before this quarterfinal was played, Shin Jinseo had quite a win streak that he has accumulated already, hasn't he?
He was on a 20 as of the quarterfinal draw. He was on a 27 game win streak 27. In all competitions. That's right.
That's amazing. Now, I don't know if this should be true or not, but in the database that I had, Yamauta had a 29 game win streak. I think we have discussed this before, and you kind of debunked that. Yamauta doesn't actually have a 29 game winning streak.
It really depends on how you define.
Right.
It is kind of hard to say, because in the middle of that win streak, of course, Go ratings only uses Kifu Depot, which is what you were referring to, is of course all games with Kifu.
Yeah.
Now, so what some people may not know is that there are professional games that are not recorded.
Yeah.
For instance, preliminaries are often not recorded.
Yeah.
Now, of course, for the very top players, they're not playing in preliminaries, so you would expect all of their games to be recorded. But actually, the NHK Cup in Japan is not recorded.
Yeah.
Similarly, the KBS Cup in Korea doesn't have game records.
Yep.
Well, what I mean by not recorded is the game records aren't put up on Kifu Depot. So, in the middle of Yamayuta's 29-game win streak, he actually lost a game in the NHK Cup to Kono Rin, of all people.
Wow. Yeah.
Now, why I say this is it's a bit contentious is because I'm not sure if the NHK Cup games are counted as official games in Japan.
Right.
It's one that I'm really unsure about because in Korea they sort of have sometimes they will have exhibition games that are considered to be unofficial and they're not part of the players win-loss record.
Yeah.
Basically, often pretty much anything that's not part of a competition or an official tournament is like an exhibition game. For instance, often the winner of the Hachansuk Gifted Students competition, they'll play a game against Shin Jinseo afterwards.
Yep.
And that game is not part of the win-loss record. So if Shin Jinseo were to somehow lose that game, it wouldn't count as a loss.
Yes.
Officially.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So I'm not sure if the NHK Cup is considered an exhibition in Japan records. So that one's a bit of a uncertain one.
Yeah.
But in any case, yes, Ayama did lose a game in that streak.
Yeah. Now, what's remarkable about Shin Jinseo's winning streak was that this table supposedly compiles the top 100 win streaks based on the Kifu Depot website and the games with Kifu. Like Shin Jinseo has done something similar already in 2019 and 2020. So he's got a 27 game winning streak, and a bit further down you can see that in 2019 he's got a 19-game winning streak, and of course you see Kerje popping up here in 2017 with a 21-game winning streak. That was right after he was defeated by AlphaGo, and then you got Shin Jinseo winning 18 games in a row in 2022. So Shin Jinseo appears on this list a lot, I would say, and of course you have Li Chang-ho appearing over here. So Shin Jinseo has done quite well. Now, I guess the question is, how long can Shin Jinseo continue this? I mean, if Shin Jinseo, the win streak goes to 30 games, he will officially overtake Yamayuta, regardless of how contentious that record is. So Shin Jinseo could be onto something. He could be making history, but yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I do want to make. Just one clarification here.
Yeah.
His streak in 2020 was actually 28 games officially.
Right.
The Baduk website, the KBA website has stated that his streak in 2020 was 28 games, and that was his longest streak.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, these records aren't 100% accurate because they're just based on Kifu's, and but let's just say for a long time in the game between Li Weiqing and Shin Jinseo, I would imagine majority of the world thought that Shin Jinseo's streak was ending there and there.
Are we talking about the quarter-final game of the Quzhou-Lanke Cup?
Yes, we are. Quzhou-Lanke Cup, yes. Li Weiqing versus Shin Jinseo. Now, guys, during the game, you would have to say Shin Jinseo was behind, like for a lot of the game. In fact, it was down to like less than 1% win rate. But somehow, through some magic, Shin Jinseo magic, I think he managed to come out on top, winning by half a point.
Well, shall we have a look at the Kifu?
Yes.
Just for the record, Elom has clarified in the chat that the NHK Cup games in Japan are considered official games. So that would mean that Yamayuta's 29-game streak in Kifu Depot may not actually be official.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Now, guys, we can quickly have a look at the Kifu, but do let me know which part of the you want to have a look at. So I'm going to just load the Kifu. This is the game between Shin Jinseo and Li Weiqing. Shin Jinseo is black, and Li Weiqing is white.
Oh, hello. There it is.
Yeah. I think the game was pretty interesting at the beginning. Now, if I'm not wrong, up to this point, I think AI is already hating Shin Jinseo's position. So, yeah, it's really painful for this white black group because it's black still needs one more move down by the bottom to live, and it's been completely pressed down by white. So, so that's the Kifu. Now, guys, is there any part of the Kifu you want to look at?
If you just keep going along, so it was at this point that our friend Zin said that Shin Jinseo was really trying everything from the Tsuji manual.
Right, yeah.
In this game.
Yeah. When he did the clamp. Something like that, yeah.
Yes, and it seemed like White had a strong grasp on the situation, but the idea that Shin Jinseo seemed to be trying was to make the positions extremely complicated. And then if you now look at White's group on the right, it's it was struggling. It was struggling to find eye space.
Yeah.
And now it has got eye space just by surrounding those 4 black stones. But then Black's cut there at F7 makes things a little bit interesting over there.
Yeah.
And I think White had an opportunity here, but didn't take it. I'm not sure if what was the White I think White got a little bit nervous and just started responding to everything that Shin Jinseo did. So, for instance, I think C12, if you go back to move 189, I don't think C12 was a great move, but then White's response wasn't great either, according to AI, that is.
Yeah.
And then I think the move that sort of changed everything was N10. And I think that move sort of made everything secure for Black. Move 193.
Yeah. Yeah, so Black would be... Is Black alive here? I guess it is. Yes. It got to a point where they were just fighting this code in the corner. But
that was a double co, so I don't think that Black. It was a double co, so I'm not sure. I think it was an easy. It turned out to be very manageable for Black, that co. Yeah. It's a very complicated game, of course.
It was a very complicated game. I think in the beginning, Black was really struggling, as we saw before, and then somehow, I think it ended up winning by just half a point.
So, well, it's Chinese rules, so Black won by 1.5 points.
1.5 points, yes. So, so that was quite good.
But yeah, the if you want some actual proper good live commentary in English, Michael Redmond had a live stream for this game.
Yeah.
I highly recommend checking over that if you have the time.
Mm.
Um, it's I was following this game live as well, and I was struggling to see to comprehend the moves.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So
yeah.
that was that.
But like this is the game of the week, don't you agree,
Yeah.
Jado?
Yeah. It was definitely game of the week just because of
Like it
how.
reminds me it reminds me of Shin Jinseo's magic against Yang Dingjin in
Yeah.
last year's LG Cup final, game one.
Yeah.
For yeah, for a few moments or for quite a period of time, you know, people were thinking not only is Shin Jinseo's streak going to end,
Mm.
but he's going to be eliminated from the Quzhou-Lanke Cup.
Yeah.
And um, with that, perhaps, Korean hopes of a Korean champion
Mm.
in this tournament
Yeah.
would have disappeared as well.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's pulled some magic again, and you got to feel sorry for Li Weiqing because he played so well for so long.
Mm.
And really, it was I think it was time trouble that got to him. It was when he reached Byoyomi that he started to falter.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh wow.
but yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do. Just learn from your mistakes and try better next time. But it's a bitter pill to swallow, I'm sure.
Yeah. 100%. Um. But yeah. No. Li Weiqing was leading the whole way, and then somehow got reversed. The game got reversed. Now let's go over some of the other results. In the Battle of the Shells, Len Xiao, Tan Xiao actually got the better of Len Xiao. So let's look at the results here. The results should be here. So we actually got yeah. So
So you've
Len,
actually reported that wrong, by the way,
sorry,
in the Reddit post
yeah.
because
Oh,
you
it was Tan Xiao who won actually.
Tanjao won that game, not
Yeah,
Lianzhao.
okay. Yeah, okay. Tan Xiao won the game. Yeah, Tan Xiao won the game. And then we got Gu Zihao winning against An Sun Jun. Uh,
Yeah, that was a very easy. Well, it was a pretty comprehensive win by
mm,
Guzihao.
yeah. And then maybe in a little bit of a surprise, we got Wang Xinghao losing to Park Geunho. So
Yeah, this one's interesting because obviously I was expecting Wang Xinghao to win, despite this being his first world major.
yeah,
Um, and Park Yun Ho. Now, this is actually his third world major.
mm,
He's made the LG Cup twice before, but this is not only is this his first semi-final. This is actually the first time he's ever won a game in a world major. In his two LG Cup appearances, he lost in the first round.
yeah. So oh wow. Um, but
Yeah.
so this in many ways a bit of a surprise. If you look at the Korean lineup at this point in the game, now remember Korea went into this tournament with, your your Byung Sang-il, your Park Jun-hwan, and of course Shin Jinseo. But by the quarterfinals, the three Koreans that are left were Shin Jinseo, the usual suspect, but An Sun-jun and Park Geun-ho. And what's more interesting is that now Park Geun-ho even made it to the semi along with Shin Jinseo. I guess you wouldn't have picked this pair to represent Korea in the semifinals.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't have picked Park Yun Ho. I would have guessed Park Yun Ho would have won at most one game, but
Right. Yeah.
he's now won three.
Yeah.
Um,
And
yeah, quite impressive. And I remember making fun of him earlier this year when I said he was number 7
yeah.
in the Korean rankings, which to me implied there was at most 6
Yeah.
um, world possible, uh,
World class
top
players
level
in
players,
Korea.
yeah, world class players. But
Yeah.
Park Yun Ho has now proven himself to be a world class player, so he's
Right.
made me look a little bit silly there. But well done to
Yeah.
him for getting this far, beating some quality players. You see, he's also beat Zihao
Yep.
in the second round.
Yep.
Yeah, so Yeah, 2 good wins there.
Yeah, done pretty well.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately for Wang Xinghao, this is not to be his tournament. Maybe he's too young, too simple, sometimes naive. Maybe needs a bit more practice. So and you know what? One thing I just noticed about this Park Geunho guy, he decided to wear a sneaker. Uh,
You'd be
to
surprised how many Koreans wear sneakers
Yeah,
in official photos.
right.
Yeah,
And
it's interesting. Yeah, not really formal wear, but
yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, no, so maybe he's doing a work from home uh, while playing face to face games, because obviously if you work from home, it almost doesn't really matter what you're wearing below the waist. But yeah, that's just something that I found very interesting. So we had the semifinals being Tan Xiao versus Shin Jinseo and Park Geun-ho versus Zihao. So
Now
I
these
guess
semi-finals, by the way, the quarterfinals were played on Monday,
mm,
and the semi-finals are played on Tuesday. Now these players they play 4 games in 5 days. They got to play on the Friday and Saturday. Then Sunday is a rest day, and
mm,
then they play Monday, Tuesday.
yeah. Yeah, so they got a rest day in the quarterfinal, I believe. So
Between the round of 16 and the quarterfinal, yes.
right, and now they're playing again. Uh, so let's see what happens in the semi-final. Now, because the Quzhou-Lanke Cup, they play till the semi-final, and then the finals are postponed to June. So I think the semi-finals is kind of as far as we go for this Quzhou-Lanke Cup for a while. So what happened in the semi-finals, Gaza?
Well, the game I watched was, of course, Shin Jinseo's game,
Yeah,
and that turned out to be a very unexciting game. It was a clinical
yeah,
performance by Shin Jinseo. There was
yeah,
no surprises.
yeah,
Tanjao was completely outplayed,
yeah,
which is not shocking, but it is a little bit surprising because Tanjao is a world class player and he's a
yeah,
world champion.
yes,
Um, obviously I watched the game. Now, Shin Jinseo allowed Tan Zhao to
mm,
get a very big corner, um, uh, in the game, but pretty much no other territory.
oh wow,
And it was just obviously it was just not enough
mm,
for Tan Zhao. Now, just an overview of Shin Jinseo. Shin Jinseo played black in that game. He actually played black in every game, in every round
yeah,
in this tournament. So you can see here, we've got the Kifu there. Now
yeah,
the bottom, you can see the bottom left.
mm,
Um, yeah, it's a very big white group. Now, and that was established quite early in the game,
right,
but white had really not much else going. He had a little bit. Yeah, he had the lower right group. He had some stones established there, but
mm,
as you can see, he didn't get that many points for that.
yeah,
And black is just making space everywhere else, and you can see black's upper right region is it's quite big,
yeah,
and that
and
was it
yeah,
was just too much. And yeah, like I was saying, Shin Jinseo had black every round in this
mm,
tournament, and under Chinese rules, the Komi for white is 7.5.
yeah,
So it is considered to be disadvantageous, a little bit disadvantageous to play with black.
mm,
And Shin Jinseo had black because of Nagiri. He ended up with black every round,
mm,
and every round he was playing a Chinese 9 dan.
yeah, oh wow,
It was like going through a gauntlet. And of his 4 opponents, of his 4 Chinese 9 dan opponents, one of them is a current world champion in Ding Hao.
yeah,
One of them is a former world champion in Tan Zhao.
yeah,
One of them is a former Asian champion in Li Qingchen.
yeah,
And the other opponent, Li Weiqing, was the one who gave him the most trouble.
yeah,
In fact, he was the only one that gave him any trouble. It seemed
all right,
to 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 go through that level of competition over 5 days with black is really outstanding.
yeah,
And it's I mean, for Shin Jinseo, that's probably sort of his standard,
Mm.
considered his standard. Like he'd be disappointed if he lost any of those games.
Yeah.
But for anyone else, it's like that's
What do you call
yeah,
it?
crazy.
Yeah. Now we discussed Shin Jinso's winning streak up to the quarterfinals. Now that he's played 2 more games, his winning streak now stands at 29.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's yes. So he now has a win streak of 29. Yeah, it's nicely spotted.
Mm.
And that's actually beats his previous record set in 2020.
Yes.
Um, 29 games. And
Yeah.
yeah, we're not sure what the all-time record is for any player.
Mm.
It is a little bit hard to find.
Yep.
And it also is a little bit misleading because there were players in the past, before the international major era,
Mm.
games were only played between players of the same country. So if you
Yeah.
dominated within your own country, you could get a long win streak.
Right. Yeah.
But in any case, I don't think anyone in many, many years has won 29 straight games
Yeah.
at the top level. And Shin Jinseo has done it.
Yeah.
I would say this is a record for the AI era.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
100%.
that's pretty certain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just insane.
Yeah. So yeah. So this is Shin Jinso, making it to 29. That's just absolutely crazy, as
Yeah.
you mentioned. So
And
what?
just to clarify something in the chat, we just want to clarify the opponent in the semifinal was definitely Tan Zhao. It wasn't Liang Zhao.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that. So this reporting here is wrong. But what this means, Gaza, is that because we have Zihao playing Park Geunho, I do believe that game was also one where Zihao was almost certain to lose, but somehow he managed to pull through. So I guess that's
Well,
kind of the sign.
this game was definitely the more exciting game. Unfortunately, I didn't watch this one. Also, any games that are played on Tuesday, I kind of have difficulty following because of work commitments. But this one was apparently a very close game, and Park Geun-ho certainly had some strong chances of winning this game.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find the Kifu. Oops, sorry.
So it looked like for a while that the final was gonna be between Shin Jinseo and Park Geun-ho.
Yes, it actually looked like Park Geun-ho was going to win at some point.
Yeah.
And so people were speculating the possibility of an all-Korean final
Yeah.
in the debut tournament of a new Japanese World Major.
Yeah. Oh, Chinese World Major.
Sorry, Chinese World Major.
Yeah.
Yes. Now that would have been
That would have been very interesting. Let's just say.
that would have been. Oh, you would say it would be slightly embarrassing for
Yeah.
the Chinese Weiqi Association, but
Yeah.
in the end, that did not happen. There was it ended up becoming a very close Yosei battle, and Park Geun-ho ended up making the last mistake.
Right.
And yeah, Zihao ended up with he was leading by 1.5 points, but Park Geun-ho resigned. So
yeah. So yeah. So that was a really good game that just came down to Yosei, as you said. So basically now we have the final between Shin Jinseo and Zihao. I guess. I mean, if you were to think that a Chinese, if there's a Chinese player who can stop Shin Jinseo, Zihao might be one of them. But of course, Ding Hao and have already fallen in the tournament. Kerja is gone. Li Hao is gone. But Zihao is still a very strong player, easily one of the top 10 players in China. So they will play out a best of 3 in June.
Yes, and I think the first game is on the 14th of June. Is that right?
Something like that. Yes. Now, Gaza, I do wanted to quickly go over the uh, statistics or the predictions as if you were to use a simple mathematical model. So you look at the ratings point difference. There's actually a 200-point difference. So these ratings points are basically you need to interpret them using the what's called the ELO formula. So the chances of winning, if you're about 20 points, 200 points apart, I believe it's somewhere around the chance of the stronger opponent winning is like 76%, something like that.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so that's what it means by having a 200-point difference. Now, for comparison, I do believe that in the chess world, Bobby Fischer, when he was the best player in the world, he was basically 200 points ahead of the next strongest player. So 200 points is a fairly significant margin. Yeah.
Yes. 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 So 76% chance of winning, but that of course is in a one game situation. When
Sure.
it becomes a best of 3,
Yeah.
the stronger player has an even higher chance of winning.
Correct, because now you have room to make mistakes. You can lose one game and still
Yes,
come from
it's well known statistical
yeah.
thing that averages have less. Running a situation over multiple trials results in less variance.
Yes. So stronger players are more likely to come out on top the more
Yes.
games you play. So if you just do the calculations, what you realize is that Shin Jinseo actually has a 86% chance of winning the best of 3.
86. Gee,
so-
that's high, but not 100%. So
100%. Not 100%. And,
Chinese hopes
are still alive.
There's still chance.
Still
There's still
alive.
chance. Yes.
Yes. So that's the coverage of the first Lanke Cup. So this is the two shaking.
Now,
their
what would
hands.
you say about this Lanke Cup? Did you say you say it was worth the wait?
I would say so. I mean, any new international competition is worth the wait. I mean, there's the highlights for me in this tournament so far is Geunho losing in the first round, and then you
Wow.
got Shin Jinseo coming from the, what's it called, depth of hell, versus Li Weiqing, and somehow managed to come out on top. That's
I
just
would
something to
say
tell.
that the Shin Jinseo versus Li Weiqing game was worth
Yeah.
it alone. Was worth the wait. Yeah, that Eugene has mentioned in the comments. It's a game of the year candidate, and I would agree.
Yes, 100%.
And once again, I do suggest that people watch the Michael Redmond
Yeah.
coverage.
Yeah.
It really is a fascinating game that we haven't done justice.
No.
Yep. In any case, yeah, please go over it yourself, either with or without AI. It really is something special.
Special. Now, Gaza, talking about something special, I don't think we talked about this episode, but I did tell you about this after the game, after our podcast.
You didn't know. You mentioned this during the podcast, but you didn't have the footage.
Yeah, no, I didn't have the footage. So, so this is the footage of the CWA stream. I wouldn't say it's a footage; it's just a screenshot. And this is what I've described. Basically, they did put a camera there, but for whatever reason, they let all the journalists stand in front of the camera. So for a majority of the time, you're just staring at the back of the journalist. So I don't know. I think there's only two things that are infinite in this universe, Gaza.
Yeah, what are those things?
One is the number infinity.
Yes.
The other one is CWA incompetence. So that's just how bad it is. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It's just so bad.
It is disappointing. You can't see anything on the stage there, but they tried.
Wow.
Hopefully they can do better next time.
Whew. That's some pretty low. I mean, how low can standards get Gaza? I'm not sure. But I guess they tried. So speaking about trying, Gaza, shall we try to rescue Japan's fortunes in the Korean League?
Well, we actually mentioned a couple of podcasts ago that Japan won a match.
Yes. Thanks to Team Taiwan.
well, thanks to Team Taiwan and mostly thanks to Sakai Yuki
Yeah. Wow.
of Team Japan. But
Yeah.
the final round of the Korean League
Yeah.
got underway this week. Now, there are 2 groups in the Korean League. So just to recap, there are 12 teams in the Korean League,
Yeah.
split into 2 groups of 6.
Nice.
And the top 3 in each group make the playoffs. Now, each team plays a double round robin within its group and a single round robin against every team in the other group.
Yeah.
So that is 16 rounds.
Yeah.
Now, as of last week, 15 rounds had been played, and the final round was going to be one of the double round robins. So all of the games left were games between teams in the same group.
Yeah.
Now this week, Group B played its final games. Next week, it will be Group A.
Right.
So Group B includes Team Japan. And just to go over, so their final round was against Beautiful Hapcheon. Now, Beautiful Hapcheon were last year's champions, but they haven't been going as well this year.
Yep.
However, it turned out they were strong enough to beat Team Japan.
Surprise.
That's right. Team Japan. That's right. Team Japan did in fact lose their last match.
Yes. Yes.
Now, just to be clear, they lost. Oh, what were you going to say, Xiao?
I was going to say Tip Hamchon had, of course, Park Jun-hwan, so I guess it was never going to be easy.
No, of course.
Yeah.
But Park Jun-hwan is just one player.
Yeah.
He did manage to defeat Japan's hero, though, Sakai Yuki.
Sakai Yuki, yes.
And in fact, Team Japan lost 3-1, which means they didn't get any match points from this. However, they did have one win, and that is their best performing player this whole season, Fukuoka Kataro,
Yes.
who beat 2-time Fujitsu Cup champion Park Young-hoon.
Yes. Very nice.
Now, that means so Japan ends its season. In 16 rounds, they had 1 win, 15 losses.
Yes.
I don't know how many games they played. Let me check. They would have played.
What part is the fewest
I think they
of
would
all?
have played 68 games, if my maths is correct. 68 games.
Right.
They won 18 and lost 50.
Right. That's.
Just doing quick maths, that would have been roughly
26% win rate.
26%, yes.
Yeah. So I guess it's not disaster, but
now
disaster.
I would say that's a pretty bad record.
Yes.
Now I just want to quickly go over because it's Team Japan, all right? Let's just quickly go over the player performances.
Yeah.
Okay, and I apologize if I get their names around the wrong order.
Yeah.
Seki Kataro,
Yeah.
he was their this is in order of seeding. So Seki Kataro is their top player.
Yep.
2 wins, 10 losses.
Oh wow. This is the title holder, Current Tengen in China.
Current Tengen, defending champion Tengen, two-time Tengen.
Yeah.
2 wins, 10 losses.
Yeah.
No matter which way you cut it, that is bad.
That's just garbage.
Hirata Tomoya, 2
Yes.
wins, 5 losses.
Yes.
So they didn't have equal. They didn't distribute the games equally.
The number of appearances.
The appearances, they didn't distribute those equally, but that doesn't matter. I mean, none of the Korean teams did either.
Yeah.
Okay, Onishi Ryuhei.
Yeah.
0 wins, 4 losses.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, he just didn't turn up.
No.
Koike Yoshihiro.
Yep.
1 win, 6 losses.
Whew.
And his 1 win came in the last game in Taiwan, I believe. So,
Oh wow.
yeah, he was almost on nothing.
Yeah.
Hirose Yuichi. Now, he was someone that we had high hopes for.
Yep. Did pretty well in the E League.
He did very well in the Year League, yes.
Yeah.
3 wins, 9 losses.
Okay.
Not great. It's not great.
Not great.
Chang Rui J. Now, this guy was the only one who I had no idea.
Yeah.
Never heard of him before.
Yeah.
0 wins, 3 losses. So
Right.
he didn't even play that many games, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh wow, just as well.
Yeah. Sakai Yuki, the current rookie king in Japan, 4 wins, 8 losses. Not bad.
Yep. Okay.
Not bad, but not outstanding.
Or above the average for the Japanese team.
It was above average.
Yes. Given the
He was
average is
actually
like
their
20.
second best player.
Yeah.
Their best player. So their second best player was their 7th seed. Their best player was their 8th seed.
Right. Okay.
Fukuoka Kataro, 6 wins, 5 losses. Well done to him.
Well done.
I would say he had a strong showing.
Yeah.
And he is someone to look out for in the future. He's also someone that we have been talking about since the start of the podcast. We're big fans of, just like Wang Jinghao.
Yep.
In fact, him and Wang Jinghao were the 2 finalists of the Globus Cup.
Yes.
Basically the Youth World Championship last year. And he's continuing his rise. He is a strong player. And we hope to see him back in the international scene.
Yes.
He's also he's only 17.
Yep.
So still quite young. Still got some time. Yeah, actually young.
Very, very, very. Yeah.
Yes.
Very hopeful.
So yes, but yeah, Team Japan. I'm not like. I do hope that they come back next season.
Yeah.
But I do hope that they come back with some strong players.
Yeah.
I think I would like to see at least one of the 3 Crows.
Ooh, yeah.
And players of like Fukuoka Kataro's level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Players that are not there are definitely some players in Japan that want to play against these top Korean players.
Sure, yeah.
I'm sure. So bring them on. I know that Elom in the chat wants Asami.
Yes.
To play in this league. That's certainly a thought. That one would be exciting.
Yeah.
We already saw on the Korean side Kim Yoon-ji have a game in the league. So maybe Asami would be okay. But in any case, Beautiful Hapcheon won, and that actually was enough for them to get second place.
Yeah.
In their group, and I think they were outside the top 3 for a lot of the season. So for them to get second place at the very end, I'm sure they're quite relieved, and so they actually make the playoffs.
Very nice.
Now, the 2 other games this week were the other 2 games in Group B. So the first one to happen was Baduk Mecha, that's Kim Ji-sok's team, against Team Wonick.
Yep.
That's Lee Ji-hyun's team.
Yes.
And Baduk Mecha, they won this 3-2, which meant it had to go to an ace match.
Yep.
So just a quick reminder, these 4-game matches, each match is 4 games, but if it ends 2 games all, they play a 5th game to decide the winner. However, if it has to go to a 5th game, so the team that wins 3-2, they only get 2 match points and the loser gets 1.
Yep.
If you win in the 4 games without it going to a 5th game, you get 3 match points and the loser gets 0. So I think in this case, Baduk Mecha, they really needed the 3 match points. So they really needed to win 3-1 or 4-0, but they weren't able to do that. They only won 3-2.
Right.
And so they just fell short of the playoffs. They finished 4th, equal 3rd to be clear, but they lost on tiebreak.
Oh, wow.
However, Kim Ji-sok did his part. He won his match against Lee Ji-hyun, and then he won the ace match against Lee Chang-seok.
Right, yes.
He ended up overall in the league with 13 wins, 8 losses.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's it's one of the top. It's actually sixth in terms of number of wins, 13 wins. Only 5 players had more. So yeah, a strong showing by the captain of Baduk Mecca, but unfortunately, it was not enough. They just fell short. Now the other team, the final match that happened was Team Zhongguanjiang Chinook, that's Byun Sang-il's team, versus Korea Zinc, that's Shin Min-jun and Choi Jong's team. Now, Zhongguanjiang Chinook were already guaranteed first place in the league, while Korea Zinc needed at least 1 point. They needed at least 1 match point to get to the playoffs.
Yep.
Now, this is where, when this is where the top players, they prove their worth, right? They prove that they can perform under pressure. Or so we thought, because it turns out that Shin Min-jun and Choi Jong both lost.
Yep.
For Team Korea Zinc, yes. Yep. So, like I said, they needed at least a 2-2 draw in the first 4 games, and they started off badly. Choi Jong lost to Hongsuk.
Yep.
Shin Min-jun lost to Byun Sang-il.
Yep.
So that meant that their other 2 players had to win. Otherwise, they were going to miss out on the playoffs. And it turned out that their other 2 players ended up saving the day for them. Oh, wow. Park Hyun-soo, former gifted champion, right, beat Kim Song-jin.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Yoon Jun-sang, the veteran, beat Kim Jong-hyun.
Yes.
The recently married veteran.
Yes.
So that guaranteed 1 match point for Korea Zinc, and that was enough to barely get them into the playoffs. Of course, they had an ace match. It was Byun Sang-il versus Choi Jong.
Yep.
And Choi Jong lost again, so she lost twice in one day. But it didn't matter. The ace match didn't matter.
Yeah.
Korea Zinc got their match point, and they finished 3rd in their group to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, well done.
Yes. So that's it for Group B. Yeah, next week is Group A, so there'll be 3 games, and there's still that one is also close. First place in the group is certain. Last place in the group is certain, but places 2nd to 5th are undecided. Yes. So still a lot to play for all the matches. Yes.
Yes. So looking forward to it. In the conclusion to the Korean League regular season, and let's see who makes the playoffs. And I guess Shin Jinseo, unfortunately, may not make it. But
it certainly looks like Shin Jinseo's team will not make the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's more likely than not, I guess. Yeah,
that's right. Yes.
Yeah. Oh well, so that's it. So guys, there's still quite a bit of to cover because what's happened in the Korean League? Maybe we can go over some Supreme Player and Weiqi Construction Cup.
Yes. So just a little bit going back to the Supreme Player, which is also called the Korea's Strongest League.
Yep.
So this is an individual tournament. We've talked about this before. There's 9 players fighting for the chance to challenge the current champion, Shin Jinseo.
Yep.
It's the only title holder challenger tournament in Korea at the moment. Now, we already mentioned that Park Jun-hwan has guaranteed first place in the league.
Yep.
But what we were curious about with the remaining games was who was going to finish in the top 4. Because 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, they all get spots guaranteed in the league next season. They don't have to re-qualify. Now, we already knew that Byun Sang-il, last time we looked at this, we already knew that Byun Sang-il was guaranteed second place. Well, was guaranteed to finish in the top 4, that is.
Yeah.
And it turns out that we now have the other 2 players in the top 4, and they are Lee Chang-seok and Park Min-gyu.
Wow.
Now, Lee Chang-seok, he was in the top 4 last year as well.
Yep.
So he's managed to keep his finish in the top 4 2 years in a row. So keep his spot in there. So which is good for him. He's kind of fallen a little bit off the rankings. I think he's outside the top 20 at the moment.
Right.
But he used to be a top 10 player last year.
Yep.
So it's good to see that he's still going strong in this league, and he'll have some more games to play next year.
Yep.
Park Min-gyu is I think he's a top 20 player.
Yep.
He had I think he had his best year last year.
Right.
Yeah, he's wait, where is he? Oh yeah, he's 16th. So
Okay, it's not too bad.
yeah. Whereas Lee Chang-seok, where's he? Oh, Lee Chang-seok's actually 15th. So he's yeah, they're around about the same ranking, so that's all right. Now, some players that didn't make the top 4, which means they'll have to re-qualify, and probably the biggest shock is Shin Min-jun, because he's top 5 in Korea.
Yep.
And he was the challenger last season, so he actually won the league last season. This season, he was just a bit too inconsistent, so inconsistent that he didn't even finish in the top 4.
Oh, wow.
In fact, he finished 5th place.
Yes.
Yes.
He's got a 4-4 record, and I'm just quickly looking at it. He lost to Lee Chang-seok and Park Min-gyu. So
he actually lost to all the players in the top 4.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So
Byung Sang-yu and Park Jun-hwan. Yes.
he beat everyone above him. He beat everyone below him. Lost to everyone above him, which is actually kind of strange for Shin Min-jun, because he'll be the type of player that can beat the best and lose to the worst.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But in any case, he finished right in the middle, right in the median of the group, with a 50% score, which is not enough.
No.
To keep his spot. He will have to re-qualify if he wants to be in the league next season.
Yes.
Now, some players on 3 wins. Won Song-jin on 3 wins. Park Geunho on 3 wins. Now, just goes to show, Won Song-jin is a long-time top 10 player who has 1,000 wins to his name, and he's captain of his team in the Korean League.
Yeah.
Park Geun-ho just recently made the semi-final of the Quzhou-Lanke Cup.
Yeah.
This goes to show you how tough this league is, that these guys are on 3 wins, and it's actually not really that shocking.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
We've got Park Jin-sol with 2 wins, and considering his Korean League form, where he actually has the most losses of any player in the Korean League, it's not really that surprising that he hasn't done well here.
Yeah.
And then right dead last, unfortunate, is Choi Jong.
Yeah.
By far Korea's number 1 women's player. She was the wild card in this league. I did want to see her do well, despite the fact that she didn't even try to qualify for this league and then got a wild card.
Yeah.
But she just wasn't. She just never had it. Yeah, right from the get-go, I think she lost her first 4 games.
Yeah.
So, you could already tell that. You could tell early on that not only was she not going to win this league, she probably wasn't going to finish in the top 4. And unfortunately for her, it hasn't been a good experience. And not only that, but this was a strong opportunity for her to move up even further in the rankings after her outstanding first few months of 2023.
Yeah.
And I think it was one of her goals to make it into the top 10. But and being in the Korean League gave her the opportunity to play some highly ranked players, and winning against these highly ranked players would have, of course, really boosted her up the rankings. But unfortunately, it had the reverse effect, and she dropped a lot of a lot of points from this experience, unfortunately.
Yeah, now she's out of the top 20. She was just most recently in top 21. So 21
Yes.
spot. So yeah, unfortunately. I guess that's the strongest player. We will have Park Jun-hwan take on Shin Jinseo in
Yes,
the
and
final.
that I think that happens next week.
Very nice.
The final will start. Oh wait, let me just quickly check. I believe it's in May. It is. It'll start on the 22nd. So not next week, but the week after.
Okay. Yep.
Should be good. Mm.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Also, the Weiqi Construction Cup is also about to draw to a close.
Yes, and this here is another league format, but it's not a title holder challenger. It's an 8-player league, and it's single round robin, and the top 2 players will play a best of 5 final. Now, most of the players I think have played. So each player should play 7 games.
Yep.
They've all currently played 5 or 6, and I believe that we already know who. Well, I think we know one of the final. No, we don't actually. We're close to determining the finalists. I think there are 4 players left in the running.
Yes.
First off, we've got Shin Jinseo. He is the only player yet to lose a game.
Yep.
He's 5-0.
Yep.
Shin Min-jun, he is 5-1. So both of these players are on 5 wins. And they've got the best chances of making the final. It looks very much likely it will be a Shin Jinseo Shin Min-jun final. However, there are 2 players that still have a chance because they only have 2 losses.
Yep.
And they are Park Jun-hwan and Won Song-jin. They're both on 3 wins and 2 losses. So they would need to, for them to have even a chance of making the final, they need to win their remaining games.
Yep.
But not only that, Shin Min-jun, it's quite complicated. I'm not really sure what would happen with the tie breaks, because I believe that Shin Min-jun has actually beaten both Park Jun-hwan and Won Song-jin, and Shin Jinseo has as well. So it may actually be the case that neither Park Jun-hwan nor Won Song-jin can make the finals.
Right. Yes.
Because at best they can tie the Shins.
Yep.
The Shin duo, and they've already lost to them. So it looks like it may already be a certainty, Shin Jinseo, Shin Min-jun final. But of course the league will still play out. They'll still play the remaining games of the league. But it looks like it's already inevitable what the final is going to be. And this is going to be a replay of the Myeonggan last year, which Shin Min-jun actually won that. So
2-0 over Shin Jinseo.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting if they do meet again.
Yep. So that's the Weiqi Construction Cup. Still very complicated, but something might happen. Now, Gaza, this week there's another big news coming out of Korea, wasn't it? And I'm kind of referring to something to do with Shin Jinseo's winning streak.
Oh yes, that's right. So Shin Jinseo, after the Quzhou-Lanke Cup, Shin Jinseo had one more game this week, and that was actually in the GS Caltex Cup.
Yes.
Which is a tournament that he's won 5 times in a row.
Yes.
Which I think could be a record for a tournament that isn't title holder challenger format.
Yes, and he's the reigning champion in that one. Yes.
Well, yes, he's the 5-time reigning champion.
Yes.
And I asked my friends, what do you reckon about Shin Jinseo losing in the GS Caltex Cup against his opponent, who is Paek Hongsuk?
Yep.
He played Paek Hongsuk in this match.
Yep.
And I asked my friends, what do you guys think about Shin Jinseo possibly losing? And one of my friends, he goes, no chance.
No chance.
No chance. I said, what, no chance? And he said, oh, no, actually, Shin Jinseo could possibly lose. He could have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, wait, I'll see what he said. Yes. Or things like Death Note. I think that's an anime reference.
Yeah.
Spontaneous combustion.
Yeah.
Things like that. He also mentioned it will be a teaching game, which I thought was a little bit insulting, considering Paek Hongsuk is, a veteran of the game. He's a former world champion, a former Asian champion, and also a former domestic champion.
Yeah.
And he has over 600 professional wins to his name.
Yeah.
And then so he said, Shin Jinseo could lose like Death Note, spontaneous combustion, heart attack. And then I mentioned, how about him getting outread?
Yeah.
And one of my other friends said, that's the funniest joke. Basically, he said, that's the funniest joke you've ever told. And well, what do you know? Shin Jinseo lost.
Shin Jinseo lost. Now, and he lost it at a time when his winning streak was standing at 29. He was on the cusp of making history if he had won one more game.
Well, I think he already made history.
Yeah.
But 29 wins, and playing against this was Paek Hongsuk. Like I said, of all the accolades he had, he didn't even make the Korean. He actually didn't make the Korean League.
Right.
He's not considered strong enough to be selected for the Korean League. So, it goes to show just how much people thought Shin Jinseo, this game was going to be like a walkover for Shin Jinseo, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Shin Jinseo actually was quite flustered in this game. I did watch the game live, and I think he was just over aggressive. I think he pushed too much, just expecting that Paek Hongsuk would make a mistake.
Yeah.
But he ended up not making a mistake. There was a group that looked like it was in trouble. But Paek Hongsuk managed to make it live barely, and then Shin Jinseo, he knew he was a little bit behind, so he made a desperation invasion.
Yeah.
And shockingly enough for Shin Jinseo, his group died.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Which is very rare, and so he resigned. And so not only is his streak over, but he's eliminated from the GS Caltex Cup, a tournament that he's won the last 5 times it's happened. In fact, the last time it happened, he beat Lee Sedol. The first time it happened, I believe he beat Lee Sedol.
All right.
That's how long ago it was.
Yeah.
And but I think what's as impressive as it is for Paek Hongsuk to beat Shin Jinseo, I think it just makes it more impressive just how incredible Shin Jinseo's streak and his performance this year so far has been, because this is actually the first tournament, the first individual tournament that Shin Jinseo has lost a game.
Yeah.
His previous 3
he's eliminated from.
Well, yes, but it's the first tournament he's been eliminated from. The previous 3 losses, 2 of them were in the Korean League, and the other one was in the JAR League.
Yeah. Right.
So this is the first tournament that he's actually been eliminated from this year, and it took him all until May, and this is his 51st game.
Right.
This year, and only his 4th loss.
Yeah.
It's quite remarkable, but I'm sure that Shin Jinseo won't care. He'll be bitterly upset that he lost even a single game.
Yeah.
However, all good things must come to an end. He was bound to lose. He was bound to lose a game eventually. I just don't think many people expected it would be to Paek Hongsuk as good as he is.
And Shin Jinseo last lost to Paek Hongsuk in the Korean League. Is that right?
Yes, but that was actually and that was in 2021. But that was actually the last time they played.
Right. Yes.
This is their 7th game. This is the 7th time they've played. And Shin Jinseo actually won their first 5 encounters.
Right.
The Paek Hongsuk has won the last 2. So
Okay.
take for that what you will. But yeah, they didn't. They last played in 2021.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
And I was trying to find the picture on social media of Paek Hongsuk. After he won against Shin Jinseo, basically he went out drinking, celebrating with friends, and I guess he looked very happy. I can't blame him. Beating Shin Jinseo is an achievement in itself. So, unfortunately for Shin Jinseo, no game 30 in the consecutive wins, and also no winning the GX Caltex Cup 6 times in a row.
No,
Wow.
but he already had 5 times in a row is already a record. So
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff already. Okay, so leaving Korea now, Gaza. Let's quickly talk about the Asian Games qualification in China, which have restarted. I think
no, this is big
this
news.
is big news. A couple of weeks ago, we had covered the first stage, I believe, of the Asian Cup selection in China. So this is the second stage. Now, second stage is made up of 10 players. They play in a round robin.
Do you have the 10 players? I'm
I
desperate to know.
Yes, I do have the 10 players, but they are in Chinese. But I'll just read them out. The
Yes,
first name
please.
might already surprise people. The first name is Yang Dingxin. So
Well, from what I remember, Yang Dijin
yeah,
was suspended.
yeah, but I don't think it's out of the suspension period yet, as far as I can tell. But he's allowed to play in the Asian Games, so I guess they're just making up rules as they come along now, and more and more so. That's how I feel like they're doing. But yeah, Yang Dingxin is allowed to play. And second player is Fan Tingyu. Third, Zhao Chenyu, Tojashi, Li Qingcheng, Yang Kaiwan, Li Chunhao, Keje, Gu Zihao, and Mi Yuting. Some big names there.
Yes, who's missing? I think the biggest name missing is Ding Hao.
Yeah, and of course Li Weiqing is also missing. Who's recently played Shin Jinseo.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I mean not many else like in the top few players. So all your big names like Li Chunhao, Gu Zihao, Mi Yuting, Keje,
Wen
Yang
Xing
Dingxin,
Hao is not there either.
or didn't make it. So that's the 10 players in a round robin. Now, what is actually surprising? Today they have played the third round, but what's surprising in the first 2 rounds was that, believe it or not, Keje had failed to secure a win. So in
That
the
is
first,
surprising.
so Keje in the first round had lost to Zhao Chenyu, and
Mhm.
in the second round he lost to Tojashi. So Keje's got 0 out of 2. Now, if I'm not wrong, in this Asian Games selection, they select the top 4 players, and the 5th best player is what do you call it? A backup or like a reserve. So you really have. I think that's how many they selected. I can't remember. Oh
I'm
no,
pretty sure
sorry.
it's a team of 5.
Yeah, team of 5, and they actually have 1 reserve. So you have to finish in the top 6 to have any chance. And after the first 2 rounds, Keje is sitting rock bottom. But Keje wasn't the only person to have not won a game in the first 2 rounds. Fan Tingyu also didn't do so hot either.
Now, I'm not really
lost to-
surprised at that. Fan Tingyu doesn't seem to be doing that
Yeah.
well at the moment.
Right. And I
She's
guess,
been a bit of a down patch.
yeah. And the other player to have not won anything was Yang Kaiwan. But hey. Okay, after the first 2 rounds, we have Yang Dingxin on 2 wins, Fan Tingyu on 0 wins, Zhao Chenyu on 2 wins, Tojashi on 1 win. That 1 win was over Keje, of course. Li Qingcheng on 2 wins, Yang Kaiwan on 0, Li Xuanhao on only 1 win. Keje 0 wins, Gu Zihao's 1 win, and Mi Yuting 1 win. So, yeah. So that's what it was.
I think it's bit too early to call there. Remember, you only need to make the top 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
obviously everyone can miss out and everyone can make it.
Yeah. Now, this is a picture of the third round, which happened today. Looking at Keje here, looking very, very excited. with his Rolex watch.
So who won this one?
Kerje actually won. He beat Li Qingcheng, so that was a good win for Kerje.
Yes.
I think during the game it got so hot that Kerje decided to take off his what do you call it? His
Jacket.
jacket thingy. Yeah. And then we have here Yang Kai-wen versus Zhao Chenyu. And
It looks like
apparently,
Yang Dingjin to me.
yeah, Yang Dingjin, and Yang Dingjin actually won. So Yang Dingjin's 3 out of 3. So that's pretty good. Now in the Mi Yuting game today versus Fan Tingyu, we have Fan Tingyu making several mistakes in the middle game, which meant that it was just never going to be good enough to beat Mi Yuting. So this is Fan Tingyu's 3rd straight loss. That's not good. That's not good. Now, Li Chuanhao, can Li Chuanhao bounce back versus Yang Kai-wan? So these two players have really benefited from the AI, and they've really rocketed the rankings in China. So Li Chuanhao, they played a really good game. But it wasn't good enough for Yang Kai-wan. So Li Chuanhao actually won this game. So Li Chuanhao's come out with 2 wins, 1 loss. That's not too bad. In the Tojiaxi game versus Zihao, Tojiaxi actually lost. So, and after the game, this is in the Chinese national team training room, and they were going over the Kifu with Yu Bin, the national team coach over here, and I have absolutely no idea who this person is at the back.
Okay.
Yeah. So after the 3rd round, we got Yang Dingjin on 3 wins, the hot favorites who obviously make the top 6 now. And then you got Kerje on 1 win, Li Chuanhao on 2 wins, Fan Tingyu on 0, Zhao Chenyu on 2, Tojiaxi on 1, Li Qingsheng on 2 wins, and Zihao on 2, and Mi Yuting on 2. So all to play for. It's still very early days. So let's see what's going to happen over the next few rounds. It's still 6 rounds to go, so it's only 1/3 the way through. So
Yeah, anything can happen. Even Fan Tingyu could still make the team.
yeah, I guess if he wins all 6, then it's hard to see him not making the team. But yeah. So that's it. That's the Asian Games qualify updates, and I guess that concludes all the kind of news component of the podcast, Gaza. That's all. Everything.
Yes.
Very nice. Gaza, shall we look at the calendar right now?
Actually, no, there's one game that I am looking forward to, by the way, in that Asian Games.
Yeah.
And it has been mentioned in the chat. Yang Dingjin versus Li Chuanhao.
Oh, yes. That would be quite something, yes.
And that's happening on Monday.
Yes.
That's 2 days' time as of this recording. So we're definitely gonna tell you if anything happens in that game next podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, guys, I don't know how, but apparently they have reconciled. They're no longer. I guess maybe Yang Ding should have apologized to Li Chuanhao already after having accused him of cheating with AI. So.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
It was made like maybe like a 1 sentence in a report somewhere, like a throwaway sentence that they have now reconciled. So I imagine that's what happened. Just don't forget that they're teammates in the same team in the Jar League as well. So
yes,
that'd be tough. I don't know why Yang Dingshin did that, to be honest, still to this day. So, whew. But that's it. This is what it is. Looking forward to the game. And let's look at the calendar, Gaza.
Yeah, let's check it out now. Calendar. We've got. We have. I think. Oh, we have some games in the Weiqi Construction Cup.
Yep.
Including Kang Dong-yoon versus Shin Jinseo.
Yes, very nice.
Yes. What else do we have? Oh, we have a big game in Japan.
Yep.
That is the Honinbo Game 1. This is, as of now, going to be the final time that we see 2-day games.
Yeah.
In the Honinbo.
Yeah.
End of an era.
Yeah, end of an era.
And this will be game 1 of the Honinbo. Yamayuta versus Ichiriki Ryo. It'll be a replay of last year's Honinbo title match.
Yeah.
And that'll be the same 2 players.
Yeah.
That time, Iyama won
4-0.
4-0.
Yeah.
Ichiriki will obviously be hoping to do better
Yeah.
this time. Let's hope for his sake he does.
Mm.
But game one will start on Thursday and finish on Friday.
And Gaza, if I'm not wrong, one of their games last year was the Game of the Year winner.
It did win Game of the Year, and rightfully so.
Yes. Yes.
That was game one.
Yes.
Absolutely fantastic game, and well, it would be really cool if we got a game like that yet again
Yeah.
for the final ever
Yeah.
best of 7 2-day
Honeymoon game. Yeah.
title
Go out
match.
go out with a bang. Now, Gaza, you did say that this is the last time ever. Now, technically, there is hope that some sponsor
yes.
can put up the money
Yes,
again.
when I say last time ever, I mean unless changes happen, unless something changes. But what I mean, next year it's guaranteed that it won't be 2-day matches. So it is the end of an era.
Yes.
The last time of this, for this era of the Honinbo, it's going to change. It may change back. It may change back very quickly, but for now, this is it. This is it.
Yeah.
But also, like I said, the final round of the Korean League regular season is taking place this week. So we'll be figuring out who from Group A qualifies for the playoffs.
Yes. And what we also have in China, of course, the Asian Games qualifiers for the men's continues into the next week. And then we have the Women's Jar League starting tomorrow, the Sunday, the 14th of May. So that will be very interesting.
The Women's Jar League. Yeah. I'm very curious to see if Choi Jong is playing in that. I believe Sumire may be playing in the Women's Jar League.
Now, there was some news online about Sumire's participation in the Jar League. Apparently, she will play in the first 4 rounds of the Jar League via online. So instead of turning up in person.
Very interesting.
So we definitely have Sumire playing the Jar League. That'll be very interesting. There's a little bit of buzz being generated online about the Jar League because it's the women's Jar League. That is, it's because it's just been restarted. The big names are still coming. Your Yu Jiying and your veteran Ruinai Wei. All of those are turning up, so that will be really interesting there.
I'm hoping that Choi Jong plays. It's been known that she's never actually played in the Women's Jar League.
No.
She's played for many seasons in the Women's Yi League, which is the second division.
Yes.
I'm still not entirely sure of the reasons behind that. It's presumably to do with scheduling or something like that.
Yeah, it's just easier. Yeah.
Yes, or maybe it's she was one of the Yi League teams like literally bought her spot, so she was obligated. But I'm not sure of the exact reason. But I'm hoping that she does play in the Jar League this season. It would be very good.
No, now as far as I can tell, she's not in any of the squads. So
unfortunate. Oh well.
Well, that's not gonna happen. So that's the Women's Jar League happening again. I can't see too many other things happening. And some of them we may cover just next week, but just in case our podcast gets delayed, we have the Aizu Cup Challenger Final happening on the 21st of May. So that's Aizu Cup, of course, a huge domestic Japanese tournament for women.
Oh, is that the Aizu? That's the Aizu Central Hospital Cup.
That's right. Yes.
Yes, that's right. Yes. So that's the one that is held by Asami. And so what stage are we at with that?
We'll see the semi-finals on the 20th. So the semi-final will be between Sumire and
Mukai Chiaki.
Yes, Mukai Chiaki. And the other semi-final is between Fujisawa Arena and Ueno Risa. And
That's
then
Asami's sister.
that's right. And then the final will be on the final.
The next day.
Challenger final will be on the next day. Yes. So that's the Aizu Central Hospital Cup. So
That's exciting. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be live streamed.
Oh wow.
There should be a live Kifu, but I don't think it will be live streamed.
Or maybe it's behind a paywall or something.
Oh well.
Not sure. But whatever it is, that's what's happening next week. I guess, Gaza, that's everything we have for the viewers this week.
Yes.
So that means
Thank you all for watching.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And that means Tears of the Kingdom, Here I Come Again.